Have you ever wondered how chewing gums are made? Before we dive into that, let's take a quick stroll down memory lane to explore the origin of this popular confectionery. The history of chewing gum is a fascinating tale, stretching back thousands of years. In ancient times, various cultures around the world chewed on natural substances like tree resin, leaves, and grasses for fresh breath and oral health. Fast forward to the 19th century, a sprightly entrepreneur named Thomas Adams introduced the first commercially available chewing gum, Adams New York chewing gum, which became quite the sensation. This humble product was a far cry from the colorful, flavor-packed gums we know today, but it laid the foundation for a multi-billion-dollar industry. Now that we have a brief understanding of where chewing gum comes from, it's time to uncover the process of its manufacture. Chewing gum starts with its primary ingredient, the gum base. This curious substance is what gives gum its characteristic chewiness and elasticity. But what exactly is a gum base? It's a mixture of polymers, plasticizers, and resins, blended together to create a texture that can be chewed for hours on end without breaking down. The polymers act like rubber, giving the gum its stretch, while the plasticizers keep it soft. The resins, on the other hand, make it chewable. Now, you might be thinking, polymers, plasticizers, and resins, that sounds like a chemistry experiment. Well, in a way it is. But don't worry, these ingredients are all food grade and safe to chew. They're carefully selected and combined to create the perfect gum base that's just waiting to be flavored and sweetened. So we have our gum base ready. What's next? The gum base alone doesn't make a tasty chewing gum. The magic happens when sweeteners and flavors come into play. Think of the gum base as a canvas. It's the foundation, but it's the sweeteners and flavors that bring the chewing gum to life. These are the artists that paint a picture of taste on your palate. There are a few different types of sweeteners used in chewing gum. The first is sugar, the traditional sweetener that has been used since the inception of chewing gum. But as we've become more health conscious, many manufacturers have turned to sugar substitutes like aspartame, sorbitol, and xylitol. Each of these sweeteners has its own unique taste profile, and they're often used in combination to achieve the perfect balance of sweetness. Then we have the flavors. These are what turn a simple piece of gum into a taste adventure. From the classic peppermint and spearmint to the more exotic fruit and spice flavors, the possibilities are endless. The flavors used in chewing gum are typically oil-based and are added in liquid form to the gum base. So how does it all come together? The gum base is heated until it becomes a sticky, pliable mass. The sweeteners and flavors are then added to this mass and mixed thoroughly. This ensures that every bite of the gum will have the same sweet, flavorful taste. The role of sweeteners and flavors in the final product is twofold. First, they make the gum taste good. But they also serve a functional purpose. The sweeteners make the gum chewable, while the flavors stimulate saliva production, which helps keep the gum moist and enjoyable to chew. The process of adding sweeteners and flavors is a delicate balancing act. Too much of one ingredient can overpower the others, while too little can leave the gum tasting bland. That's why the exact proportions are closely guarded secrets known only to a select few in each gum manufacturing company. Now we have a flavorful sweet gum base, but we are not done yet. The next step in the process is to shape the gum into the form we all recognize. Now that we have our gum base mixed with sweeteners and flavors, it's time to give it a familiar shape. This process is done using a series of rollers, not too different from those used in a bakery. The gum dough is passed through these rollers, gradually reducing its thickness with each pass. Imagine rolling out a pizza dough, but on a much larger and precise scale. The goal here is to achieve a perfect, uniform thickness, ensuring that every piece of gum provides the same delightful experience. Once the gum dough reaches the desired thickness, it's time for scoring. The scoring process is where the gum gets its individual piece shape. A large blade, in the shape of the desired gum pieces, scores, or makes shallow cuts, into the flattened gum dough. It's like using a cookie cutter on a dough, but instead of separating the pieces, we leave them connected for now. This way, the gum retains its moisture and freshness until the very last moment. After scoring, the gum isn't immediately ready to be popped into your mouth. It needs to cool down first. Cooling is a critical step in the gum-making process. It helps the gum to harden and maintain its shape, making it easier to handle in the next steps. This cooling process is done in a temperature-controlled room, where the gum is allowed to rest and cool naturally. It's a bit like making chocolate. If you've ever tried to make chocolate at home, you'll know that after melting and shaping it, you need to cool it in the fridge to harden. The same principle applies here, but instead of a fridge, we use a temperature-controlled room. Through the rolling, scoring, and cooling process, our gum has transformed from a doughy mixture into individual, recognizable pieces. The gum is now ready to be separated, wrapped, and packaged. But that story, my friends, is for another scene. We are now one step closer to the final product. We have our gum pieces ready, but there's still one crucial step left: packaging. This isn't just about making it look pretty, it's a vital part of ensuring the gum stays fresh and protected. Each piece of gum is first wrapped individually, usually in a thin, foil-like material. This keeps the gum from sticking to anything and helps maintain its flavor. Next comes boxing. The wrapped gum pieces are collected and placed into boxes, often by automated machines. This isn't just a random process, mind you. The gum pieces are arranged in a specific way to maximize space and ensure the box can be easily opened and closed. Finally, the boxes are sealed and prepared for distribution. This could mean loading them onto trucks, planes, or even ships, depending on where they're headed. It's a journey that might take them thousands of miles, from the factory to your local store. Now our gum is ready to be shipped and end up in stores around the world. So that's it, the journey from gum base to the chewing gum we all know and love. We've traveled through the fascinating process that starts with the gum base, a mysterious ingredient that gives chewing gum its unique chewy texture. This base is carefully prepared and then combined with sweeteners and flavors to give our chewing gum the taste we can't get enough of. Then we saw how the gum mixture is rolled into a thin sheet and scored into the familiar shapes we recognize. It's a process that requires precision and care, ensuring that each piece of gum is just right. Finally, the gum is packaged up and sent out for distribution, making its way to stores around the world. Each step is crucial, each detail meticulously taken care of, all to create the simple pleasure of a stick of chewing gum. Next time you pop a piece of gum into your mouth, you'll know exactly how it was made. Thanks for joining us on this tasty journey.